There we go, taking a look at the match stats. Erling Haaland was actually very happy to actually win against Bayern. He said it was the first time that had ever happened.
Well, those shots.
Well, that's what happens when you leave Dortmund.
Let's hear what he did have to say after the game. He said, Guardiola's a bit crazy and I like that. It's going to be fun. So, Robbo, you got a really close look. Did we get a really good idea of what we're going to see from City with Haaland in there?
Yeah, I think they mixed up their play a little bit. There was a couple of times early on where Nathan Ake came out with the ball and Haaland just pulled across. They were playing with three at the back, Bayern Munich. He pulled in between the players and the ball was played over the top and you saw his pace to get there. There was once when somebody flicked on a goal kick and he got in behind Upamecano and didn't make the most of it. Upamecano got back at him. But they also played their normal football. They linked up the play. They played through the midfield. They played it out wide. Haaland just gives them that something in behind as well. But he's a good player with his back to goal.
I like that comment as well from him afterwards, Craig. Said he's a bit crazy, but I like that. I mean, we're seeing the difference here from a player who's actually having a lot of respect for their manager as well already.
Well, I think I would take crazy as meaning
good crazy, crazy good.
Intense, and driven, enthusiastic, intense, and demandingly crazy about standards. And I keep going back to it. But we saw it from Jack Grealish last year going in there, and I think it was a big eye-opener for him, the standards of the other players set on a daily basis, not just on a weekend. And I think for Erling Haaland going from Dortmund, which, let's be honest, are effectively a feeder club and a selling club these days, or have been for a while with a lot of the younger players, and going into a club that are just trying to buy and build and bring in the best in the world and fight for the position. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to make him hopefully a better player, and that's a big problem, I think, for the rest.
What can you tell us about Bayern? How did they look in this game?
I thought they were poor. They played with three at the back. I said they played with Koeman on the right-hand side, Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side. Kimmich was way off the pace. De Bruyne completely outplayed him. But you're asking really about what happened in the front areas without Lewandowski. It started off with Gnabry up front, with Müller slightly to the right of him and Sane to the left. And Sane's a player that's a shadow of the player that was at Man City. He didn't play well last year in Bundesliga, so he needs to sort himself out fairly quickly. There was no real link-up play between them. They only had 3 shots as opposed to Man City's 22, and the possession was around about level. So they just didn't create enough. They looked, I thought, a very poor side. And just looking on the side at Nagelsmann, he was getting frustrated, he was getting angry, he didn't quite know how to change things. It was a strange performance.
Well, clearly Thomas Müller hadn't recovered from that.
It was a great interview, that one, It's like a proper chat down the pub.
Well, that's how it's meant to be, isn't it?
It was lovely.
But he was all smelly and chirpy in that interview with Robbo, but I wouldn't imagine...
I'm not with him, I can say he was actually really poor in the game.
Yeah. I mean, it is pre-season, but I think that's the one thing Man City do to a lot of teams, a lot of really good teams. And we would imagine when Bayern get up to speed, they will... I don't think they're as strong as they were a couple of years ago, but they'll still be and should be a good side. But Man City can make pretty good sides look average, and I think that was the case yesterday.
The trouble is for Bayern, being around Bayern for a couple of days, they expect their manager to win everything this season. He expects to win everything this season. I'm not sure that's going to happen for him. He could be a manager halfway through the season that's just under a little bit of pressure.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.